Good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to day 3 here at BVE 2014. Remember, you can keep up to date with everything that's going on by following us on Twitter at Broadcast Show. Use the hashtag BVE14. For the next half hour or so, we're going to be talking to people who are doing seminars here. So it's a little preview of the seminars going on at the show today. And of course, it's the last opportunity for you to send John to anywhere in the show. If there's anything particular that you want to see, anything you think we've missed, something that you want to hear about, then drop us an email live at broadcastshow.com and we'll send them out onto the show floor. But first of all, shall we crack on with the guest? I think we shall. Let's welcome Adam Chizitsky to the stand. Welcome, Adam. How are you, sir?
Yeah, great. Good to be here. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the seminar that you're doing today, then.
So 12 o'clock today, I'm going to be talking about suspense in cinematography, how to capture it, how to create it, and I'm going to be talking through the steps that I do to perfect that kind of art of cinematography. You know, I'm doing my own thing, mostly top-end TV drama is what I do. I love doing variety in my work, so sci-fi genre one year, period the next, contemporary the next. For me, it's about continually reinventing storytelling. It's kind of going back to storytelling, because it's the holy grail.
Yes.
So today it's great to be here in Excel because, you know, you're surrounded by all this gear. You know, it's amazing technology today. The choice of how we're going to tell a story is infinite.
So you're here for, obviously you're here to do the seminar, but you're going to have a chance to little look around. Is this kind of, you know, kiddie in a sweet shop and having a little look at what's out there?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, who isn't nuts about camera gear and lenses and lighting? But for me, it's actually, it's tools for the job. You know, it's interesting, you said to me before we started, what do you like to shoot with?
Yeah, because
you know, there's so much choice, but you know, you can pick up an iPhone, or you could go to an Alexa, or you could take a 35mm camera. In the end, it's about what's right for that script.
So, speaking as a cinematographer, and the right tools for the job as well, but there's a lot of chat as well, and I know there was a seminar on yesterday about being adaptive, and so using an Alexa, using a Canon, using a Sony. Is that something that you find you have to keep educating yourself on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the cinematographer's role is very much the guardian of the image, the translator of the word to the screen. So I have to have in my palette of paintbrushes and colors anything that I think might be right for that story beat, or that flashback. So it's great to familiarize yourself as much as possible and as regularly as possible with new gear, what's coming up, what's out there, but always bearing in mind that it's not the latest gadget that's going to be necessarily your best friend. It might actually be a lens from the 1970s. I just shot a pilot in South Africa for American TV, and we used the lenses that were made for Return of the Jedi.
Superb. So
what's interesting now is that you can take, you know, a brand new sensor on a camera and add these lenses that have been sitting on the shelf, nobody was interested in them for years, and create something new.
Excellent. And so going out and creating that something new, you were saying to me that the tools that you choose for the job is you start with a script.
Absolutely.
That's the starting point.
It's the Bible. It's the Holy Grail. I mean, I kind of think of it, you know, a bit like archaeology. You know, I sit down with that script and I take my little tool and I chip away at that script until I familiarize myself so much with the characters, with the narrative, and then build up a picture of how I'm going to translate that. It's very much a kind of translation from word to image, and everybody has their own crazy processes.
And during that crazy process, is there something that just jumps out and you goes, this camera is going to be put, what's the trigger?
Very much, Ben. Sometimes that happens. I mean, you know, obviously I'm the director's partner, if you like.
Yep.
So I'm not working alone. I'll team up with this director, and I want to carry his vision, but I want to also bring some of my own and surprise him, hopefully along the way. So we'll delve into reference. We'll look at paintings. We'll look at photography. We'll look at other movies, but all the time thinking, what is right for this script? And at a certain point, something speaks to you. Something goes ting in your memory. That camera I used for that job, or that lens I saw, it'll be perfect for this part of the story. So you're kind of drawing on all your experience all the time. And what's great about being a cinematographer is that, unlike a musician where you have to practice every single day or you lose it, cinematography is about absorbing experience, life experience. I'm looking at you now, and I'm looking at this lighting on your face, and I'm thinking,
don't.
Poor guy,
not this morning.
So I'm absorbing all the time around me, and then hopefully I'm bringing that to the script to serve the story.
So looking at the script, you're going to get something from there. You weighing that up with a budget, I suppose, is the other thing as well. How does that? Is that the angst?
That's a good question.
The compromise for you?
Well, that's the other thing that I'm always aware of. Cinematography and commerce, art and commerce. This is where movie making, TV making meets. And what one has to do is to find a positive result to those issues, to those challenges, and find a creative solution to any of those budgetary challenges that might come along the way. Because ambition will undoubtedly take you way beyond what the means of your budget are, whether it's a micro or huge budget. You're always wanting to do more. So it's about those creative solutions. And that's where I really get off, because you have to think laterally, you have to think on your feet. Things are constantly going to change. So spontaneity and instinct and team playing are all parts of being a cinematographer. It's not just the technical knowledge.
And do you find, at a show like this, Larry Jordan was on the sofa yesterday, and he loves, and the part of the education, the training of being at these shows, and the continued education for people, because you can walk up to the manufacturer and say, I've got this issue with this, or are you going to do this? Is that, you end up helping towards the development of those cameras? Is that the kind of thing you'll be doing here as well?
I certainly love giving feedback. Sometimes it's welcome, sometimes it isn't. But yeah, it is a nice opportunity to actually see face-to-face with the manufacturers, and for them perhaps to see the end user and get a dialogue going. And there are many examples of companies who are continually fantastic at inviting one along to take part in their process of developing the technology. Because in the end, we all want to deliver the best product. The best experience for the audience.
So we're going back to today's seminar, the suspense and creating suspense within cinematography.
Yeah.
Just give us a little taste, obviously not the whole 30 minutes,
yes.
But what can people expect?
Well, what I'm keen to impart is my own experience of it. It's not going to be a history lesson on Hitchcock, but rather, what are the steps, the practical steps that I take in creating suspense or creating the mood for a long-form piece. So I've got some, of my own anecdotes of how I go through those steps to create the mood.
Excellent. And then what can we see of yours at the moment? What's going
Bletchley Circle on ITV just came out, and the next thing that you're going to be able to watch, if you can access the Sci-Fi Channel, will be Dominion, which is a massive new show from the States, which I piloted just recently down in Cape Town.
Excellent. With the lens?
With these beautiful old Crystal Express lenses from the 1970s.
And is this a big part of the job as well, that you fall in love with? We know cinematography is in your blood, but the travel as well, getting to move around and different people.
It's a fantastic privilege to shoot in any country you're invited to. You get to know the people, the place, the landscape. You're continually learning about life, and it's a gift, I can only say.
While I've got you here, just a lot of the students will be around at the show today, people who are getting into this industry for the first time, trying to break through. Those that are out there thinking, cinematography, that's what I want to do. What if you've got a little gem, a little piece of advice for them?
Shoot stills. Shoot stills, shoot stills. Look at art, look at the world, travel, experience life, because you're going to need to draw on all facets of your life experience. The technical is one side, the artistic is the other, but there's the emotion as well, because continually you're going to have to convey emotion visually. So it's a life's journey, but I think if you're starting out, it's an exciting time because you can pick up a camera and get wonderful results now for very little money. It's available, the tools are available, but it's the ideas that are important. You mustn't lose sight of storytelling and what are the great ideas behind that.
I think that's a great piece of advice, because so often people can get caught up within the technology and wanting to use the best and the greatest thing, where it could be something that's
very
sold,
simple,
like the crystal lenses.
Absolutely.
Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
What time, do you know what time your seminar is
So I'm
later
on
today?
at midday, so come down and it'd be great to see everybody there.
Good.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for having you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
It's day 3, getting a little bit tangled. Got the tones of day 3 as well in the voices you may have noticed. We've got loads more coming up here on the stand today, but let's have a little look round the show now, shall we?
I thought the event was excellent. I think we should have more events like this.
Yeah, everyone's been just like, go on, hands on, go get the cameras out there. Do you want to use the light? Come back, use the light. It's fantastic. They're all really open, let you just touch everything and get to use it and experience it for yourself.
It's nice to see, really refreshing to see something like this here today.
The seminars, again, have been really helpful. And there's a good broad mix of everything here.
You're actually seeing lots of manufacturers in one space, and you get the chance to actually talk to people, whereas at the bigger shows you don't always get that.
It's been good value for money as far as our marketing spend is concerned. The visitors have really loved it. I would recommend anybody to come and visit the show.
Show 4 starting to fill up on the last day here at BVE 2014. Great to have you with us, and great to have Dado Valentik with me now. How are you, Dado?
Very good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you're
Thank
the
you.
man to tell us all about grading and 4K and DaVinci Resolve. So why don't you tell us a little bit, first of all, about where you're at and what you're doing?
Where am I? So I'm a colorist, you know, and like a few years ago, I opened one of the very early boutique companies in Soho called My Therapy, and ever since we've been spearheading the technical developments in the area of color grading. We're well known for our color sciences. And you know, we worked on quite a few big projects. Like maybe last year, the biggest one was the Book of Exodus, or we won some kind of awards as well for some of the commercials with it. So basically, we kind of specialize on a high-end finishing and the best possible picture that we can get out of the digital cameras.
Superb. And the tools of choice for that?
For me, I kind of I started with DaVinci many years ago, and then I kind of went away, and I came back to DaVinci once it became Resolve that works on a Mac platform. And for several reasons. First, it's very flexible and has a very unique way of working with nodes, which is something that I really enjoy because it allows me to implement my color science in a very good way into the looks that I'm building. And simply I have developed such a good relationship with a company that makes the system so that I'm able to get a development and a hardware implemented in such a good way that we are getting incredible performance out of our systems.
And you're here at the show doing a seminar later on, looking specifically at grading for 4K.
That's right.
Which I know frightens some people, doesn't it? The post-production frightens me.
That's true. Basically, you see, the 4K cameras have been around for the last few years, so that's for sure. But the post was very difficult.
Yeah.
And even today, if you are to go in any of the big facilities in Soho and you mentioned that you want to finish in 4K, you'll find that it's not quite straightforward, and you'll see that the cost and effort is significant. So people were steering away from finishing things in 4K. However, us being My Therapy and being kind of somebody who's trying to innovate, we switched to full 4K grading in August 2012.
Okay.
And like last year, we finished about 4 feature films in 4K and about 10 or 12 commercials in 4K. So we deliver them really in 4K. So once we build all of that experience, we have able to implement a lot of workflow improvements and some technological developments that help us really work in 4K now as if it's real time. And what is also very interesting, which I think everybody who works in this industry is going to be very happy to hear, is that with the arrival of the new Mac Pro, really we're able to have a little desktop kind of box sitting on our tables that is going to be able to do 4K work in real time. So that whole hurdle of like, how can we do 4K is now slowly moving away from us, and we can really start enjoying, the benefits of higher resolution.
So going back to when you first started with 4K, what was the biggest challenge for you? Is it to do with the file size? Is it to do with the storage?
Sure.
Is this to start with?
So to start with, you have a file sizes, so that's definitely, one thing, and that is directly associated with the storage, but not so much capacity of the storage, but speed of the storage. So today we can actually get a really fast storage at affordable prices, but back then, we had to invest like something like 35,000, 40,000 pounds plus just to get a real-time playback in 4K. The next issue was the real-time processing. You see, there's no point of having the greatest storage if you're not going to have a system that's going to be able to suck the data in and spit it out in 4K in real time and be able to do all the color effects and everything. We need to do it in real time. And for that, we're using NVIDIA graphic cards that are just improving. Every year you get a new model that's twice as fast and, probably just a little bit more expensive or something like that. So, for, £1,000 or something like that, you replace the cards and improve performance of your system. So really that was the progress. We had to wait for the hardware manufacturer to catch up, to go like, okay, we need more cores in our graphic cards. We need to make our hard drives faster and the prices to come down so that people can afford it. So this was really just a little bit of a catch-up game, for the industry to kind of, give us systems that we can use. So today it's really also with the Thunderbolt storage and it's just much more user-friendly.
So once you've got all that and that's all moving nice, I suppose for you then you go back to the art, you go back to the craft.
Correct, because you have to remove yourself completely from this technical hurdle when you sit in front of the grading panel. The moment you start worrying about any technical issues or any playback or anything like that, the creativity just disappears. I have to be the person that's going to, get into this world of the film I'm working on. I have to understand the story, feel what we're doing. And then also I have to be able to express myself. Now, this is the beauty of working in 4K, is that, as if I would be a chef, I have a very good material to begin with. I have a kind of good sauce.
Nice organic product.
You could say that,
the quality of the produce.
So already the taste is there. You don't have to work hard and add too many things to it to create some good tasty dish.
Yes.
So with the simplicity, you can actually achieve great results. And that's my approach. I try to be as little as visible as I can. I don't want people to look at an image and say it's a great grade. No, it's about great story. It's about what's happening, not about me being great colorist. So I try to stay as much in the background as I can. So being simple, being able to work with a good material is really important. So that's why I like 4K, because you kind of get to begin with the really, really good stuff. And then you don't have to do much to it, and images are just, beautiful.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the process of being a colorist? Because some people out there will go, oh yeah, the colorist, they just do the grade, or they do, I'm not really quite sure what it is. I kind of know what the director does. I know what the cinematographer, the cameraman does. But not a lot of people know exactly what goes on.
Like when I meet girls and I say I'm a colorist, they usually say it's to do with hair. Then I have to disappoint them and say, sorry, I'm not doing hair. They do that. So basically what colorists really do, look, there are actually two types of colorists in general, I would say. You have those technical guys that are coming from machine room, from editing side. They love their scopes, their RGB television, everything legal, straight looking, correct. And I have many colleagues that earn their pensions by working exactly like that, being technically very good and sound. On the other end, you have a group of colorists that are more approaching this from an artistic point of view. So imagine it's like a canvas, and you have to see what you can do with it. And that was always my approach. You know, I never got attracted to it because it's technically demanding. You know, I can manage it, but to me it was always about, you know, understanding, you know, what am I trying to say. So what Colorist really does is allows viewer to connect better with the story and enhance the emotional value of what we're trying to say. So let's say, for example, I see you like a shot of you, and you would be now in some social drama. You might have a drug issue or something like that. Let's say, I'm not saying you do.
You look at me immediately and say that I've got a drug issue.
No, okay, let's switch the story. Romantic comedy.
Thank you, yes.
Romantic comedy.
Yes.
So see, I would then try to make, you know, you glow a little, give you a nice warm look. You know, it's a lovely sunny day. You know, I would give you a lovely contrast as well, so it feels like, you know, image feels appealing, a little bit more fashion.
I like the sound of this.
You like that?
Yeah.
Maybe make your eyes a little bluer, you know, that's pop a little bit, and you know, and just maybe make a like a, you know, reduce anything that is on the face that might distract from your natural handsomeness, and that would be basically the way how straight away we would be in a world of romantic comedy. Right? So that's my job, you know, so I would be the one who would say, Les, I understand that you can't really capture everything on the camera the way it is. I mean, you probably use Instagram every day, do you?
Yeah.
So, you know, this is why we exist. Now, what we probably developed through the years is a better understanding of what we need to do with that image to connect with the story in the right way. You know, and also follow the styles, understand the looks, understand what audience, you know, and so on. So this is really what Colorist does. This is the truth.
I could sit here all day and talk to you about how you make me look good in a romantic comedy, but unfortunately, we have run out of time.
No,
It's been
thank you. It was
fantastic.
such
Do
a
you know what
pleasure.
time your seminar is later today?
I think it's at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, and that's grading with 4K.
4K, and I'm
Brilliant.
presenting a lovely film called Blackwood, which is going to be in the cinema, I think, in about 2 weeks' time. And it's an absolutely lovely film, and I actually would kind of encourage you to come and see the presentation.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you as well.
Okay, more coming up, but first of all, let's go and see where John's been. I think he's got some poles and some cams.
Well, it wouldn't be right if we didn't come to the PoleCam stand, and this year at BVE 2014 we're doing 2 videos here at the PoleCam stand, and this is the first of the 2. If you want to find the others, they'll be on the site just below me there. This time I've got Stefan with me. He's accompanied by Felix. Hi Felix, from Antelope. Stefan, tell us a little bit about what's going on here and the cooperation you've got with Antelope.
We're really excited because, as you know, we've done mini-cams for many, many years, and that's what PoleCam is about, and the ethos with the lightweight deployable crane. I met Felix a couple of years ago. I mean, what's really exciting is he's not only got a mini-cam, it not only does high speed, 350 frames a second, it's not only 2K, it can also do a live and a slow-mo output at the same time. So, as in sport today, sport does not happen without slow-mo. Well, sticking a big, expensive slow-mo camera on PoleCam, it's too difficult. It's not possible. But now with this, it is. And Felix very kindly invited me out to Dubai in December to get a bit of winter sun. And Felix not only owns the company, but he's also the director. So I'll hand over to Felix to explain a bit more, and while that's happening, I will just give you a quick demonstration on here as well. That here we go, and we trigger the event, and we replay it, and here it is straight away. How cool is that?
Death of a Lego bricker. Yeah. I'm sorry if something we've shown you has just offended you. Felix, tell us a little bit about what we've got going here.
Well, as Stefan said, what's really interesting is that the camera is the only POV-style high-speed camera that's available on the market. And for me as a television director and as a camera manufacturer, it's great to have people like Stefan with his PoleCams and our cameras, because we can create totally new images, we can fly into new vantage points, and we can just build new sequences together that nobody's seen before. And the camera records at 350 frames a second, as Stefan said. That's a perfect speed for replays on golf. We've invited him, as he mentioned, to Dubai. We shot great slow-mos, great replays, but also we used his camera on the PoleCam as a live cut camera. So basically we flew into sand traps and we showed slopes and undulations on the greens, and it was good fun.
Bringing the players into the tee box. which was great because then you can see what's going on. But then they cut to the other cameras and we flew overhead, and then they'd use that as a replay as an analysis camera. So the commentators love it, players love it.
Players love it. So it's a great tool. It's just the combination of a pole cam and the replay camera it's perfect, because you can fly this camera into new positions, but then also the movement of the pole, it's like a full jib, but you can fly into any position that a normal camera wouldn't be able to fly to.
We've just demonstrated it to BBC Natural History for their new upcoming, it's their new big wildlife show which starts shooting next year. They're very keen to use this again to get a high-speed camera, which they've used for years, even in the days of film. But to be able to now place the camera in a position where they can't get a camera normally, where they can't even get the cameraman, it might be too dangerous, or it might just disturb the animals and frighten them away. And we've got the ability to do this, but getting a bit of movement in there as well. I mean, it looks fantastic.
And it does look amazing. If people want to find out some more information about this camera, obviously the PoleCam system and the integration between the two, where can they find that on the web?
Well, we're here at BVE, day one. We've got 2 more days. We're at stand C1, right at the main entrance, and we've got a system here readily available for live demonstrations.
And if this is being shown, which it will be after BVE, people have seen this, thought they're really interested in this, what's the best website to go to?
Well, you can obviously get to it at polecam.com.
Or check out www.antelope.tv.
Felix, Stefan, thank you very much. We've been killing Lego bricks here all day. It's fascinating. And I've got to take this phone call. In the meantime, that's it here from PoleCam. There's another video, and we'll be talking other stuff with Stefan later on. Thanks very much.
Hey, welcome back. You're with Broadcast Show here at BVE 2014. Keep your tweets coming. Follow us at Broadcast Show. And if you're tweeting about BVE, use the hashtag BVE14. Remember, John, we can send him anywhere today. If there's anything he's missed that you want to see, drop us an email live at broadcastshow.com. We've got the rest of the day to send him and look at kit. Right now, another person taking part in the seminar is on the sofa. Tom Thirlwall, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to have
very
you with
pleased to
us.
be here.
Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you, because you've dived in. Thanks for coming straight across.
No problem.
Your company is Big Balls Films.
That's correct.
And you're part of a set. I've got to read this because it's a long title. You're part of a panel discussion later on, redefining content's route to market and where next. Looking at what early YouTube channel adopters and where YouTube channel adopters will take content.
That's correct.
Discuss. No, don't discuss. Tell me about Big Balls first of all and what you're up to.
So Big Balls as a business started as a commercials production company, making YouTube videos, action sports films, commercials. And we very quickly segued into distributing our own content, creating our own properties, and using the internet as our means of distribution. So way back in 2007, we created and produced a show called Cape Modern, which was a big sort of internet sensation, 67 million views across Bebo. And from that moment on, it sort of programmed our sort of destiny from that moment forward, really, which is we became the go-to guys for creating content and building audiences using digital platforms.
So what sent you on that route in the first place?
Well, I think that looking back into the kind of days of commercial production in 2006, 2007, music video budgets had gone from 200,000 to 2,000. And the world was being disrupted. It was being disrupted by technology, different platforms, camera tech and pricing was coming down and becoming affordable and ubiquitous. And as a business, we decided to kind of embrace this sort of changing landscape and felt that if we ploughed our furrow, I suppose, in this world and started creating content and shows and entertainment properties that lived in these spaces, then we had an opportunity to build global audiences around them rather than wait for our next music video commission or waiting in the queue to try and get a TV show off the ground. So we kind of took destiny into our own hands and kind of seized the moment, and that was back in 2007. And here we are in 2014, and we're still kind of preaching from that kind of altar of get out there, make content, distribute content, build your own audiences, because it's all there to be done.
So there's going to be, I would think, plenty of people here at the show, plenty of people watch at home who are attempting to do that, doing just that, what's the big piece of advice? What's the starting point for that? I know there's going to be loads. You're going to talk about them in the seminar, but you can give us a few.
The starting point has to be the audience and understanding the audience, how that audience connects and shares, and why that audience should even be interested in the content that you're creating. If you understand that audience and continue to understand them and listen to them and iterate, then you've got every chance that you can then start to grow communities and audiences around the content that you're making. You know, historically, a TV production company hasn't had to worry about the audience because that's been the broadcaster's problem. Or if you're a commercial production company, it's the media agency's problem about where, you know, the ad or the piece of content sits. We have always made it our problem to understand the audience because that's, as a company, what we've set out to do. So right at the heart of everything you do as a producer, think about the audience, and that is the best possible starting point that I can think of.
So I think a lot of people with production companies out there are now starting to think, right, you've got the video, you've got the products, as it were, and then the delivery. Did you, when you set up Big Balls, did you learn the whole thing of YouTube, or was it so you learn that yourself? That becomes another skill of yours, or is it bringing that in from the outside, bringing someone in?
Well, first and foremost, we were filmmakers and storytellers. So with these new emergent platforms, we knew we had to learn them. And so in the early days of Cape Modern, for example, we were shooting and editing during the day, and then at night doing what has become known as community management and kind of blogger outreach and working out how you got audiences from Facebook and MySpace back over to Bebo. And so this was the early days of I suppose, what's gone on to be described as audience development. So when we had the opportunity to work on YouTube, we just brought exactly the same principles over. You know, how does the platform work from a technical perspective? Where do the communities live and exist on YouTube? How do they live and exist? How do they share content? What is the content that is catching people's attention, making people want to share, making people want to talk about it? And you sort of look and learn and feel your way through it. There is no one in this space at the moment that's going to give you a rule book. There's no guru to go to say, what do we do now? We have a saying which is kind of thinking by jumping, which is get in there, roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, make the content, work out what's working and not working, and keep going. As I say, no one's got a divine right to succeed.
And I guess the great thing about it is with the analytics that are available now, you can jump in, and if it's not working, you just change it. It's not...
Exactly, and that is, that's the thing. There is kind of no holy cows. You are face to face with your audience every single day that you're putting content out there, and there is reams of data that you can use, and they're both on a qualitative and quantitative perspective. And you've got to use that. You've got to use that to shape the content. You've got to use that the talent that you're using on screen to build a one-to-one audience with the audience, one-to-one relationship with the audience, should I say. So all of the kind of tools and the feedback is there. So jump in and don't be scared is the other top tip.
And just before you came on, we came on air, you were telling me about Copper 90.
Yes.
So tell me how you got involved with that, because that was a competition, wasn't it? A big pitch.
Yeah, that's right. So 2 years ago, YouTube extended their originals initiative from the US over to Europe and the rest of the world. We were one of the first companies to pitch and win for one of those channel commissions. That channel commission was to run a football channel. And we pitched against kind of 43 of the great and good of sports broadcasting, and we were chosen as winners of that commission. And we launched in October 2012 Copper 90, which is a football channel which is a celebration of all things around football fan culture. So we don't touch rights. We don't show any highlights. We don't show any goals. We are all about fans and fan culture and how you connect to fan culture. So we've created a number of digital native series that I suppose celebrate fan culture, and it's aimed fairly and squarely at a kind of 16 to 24-year-old football fan. around the world. So we're not too partisan about clubs. We kind of celebrate the circus that is football and what it is to be a football fan anywhere in the world.
And you're a football fan yourself?
Yes, I am.
Is that how it came about it?
Yeah, partly. I mean, we're all sports fans and football fans at Big Balls. Our heritage is really in action sports. So one of the founders of the business, Chris Kelly, is an action sports filmmaker. Our second channel, Line 9, is fairly and squarely an action sports channel. It's about skate, BMX, surf and snowboarding. But that was our second channel, because our first channel, we were given this huge opportunity to be commissioned by YouTube to create a football channel. So we jumped into that first, and are now leveraging all that we've learned and all our experience on Copper 90 to launch a series of, well, a network really, of quality sports channels aimed fairly and squarely at the 19-year-old kind of sports fan that feels underserved by traditional media. In fact, they feel that traditional media like Match of the Day is their parents' media. So we felt there was a huge opportunity for us to create properties for this kind of young, football-loving, sports-loving audience.
You've just made me feel really old saying that Match of the Day is their parents' media. Does that mean you both sat there on a Saturday night?
I have to say that and prevent myself from weeping every time I say it.
I'm never going to be able to watch it the same way now. Anyways, so later on, you've got this panel discussion, so people can find out a lot more. Do you know what time it is?
It's at 11:45. 11? Yes. Yeah,
we won't keep you much longer then. Just to finish off, people that are wanting to get into this, I know you say, you mentioned to me before we came on, people are looking towards the States still a lot. You feel that they're still way ahead as far as...
Well, having spent quite a bit of time in the States, I would say that the US, particularly businesses in California in this industry, are 2 or 3 years at least ahead of us over here. And so there's a lot of learnings, to be gained from spending a bit of time out there and seeing how the industry has already evolved over there. So yeah, I think that I think we're a little bit guilty of sleeping on the job over here, and I think people have got to kind of wake up and start. Embracing new technologies and platforms for creating content and building audiences for themselves. And as I say, not wait for a commissioner to kind of give them the go-ahead on their creative project.
Superb. Just remind us of those YouTube channels again then. So Copper 90?
Copper 90, COPA 90. That has 530,000 subscribers. Big year for us, World Cup year. We're going out to the World Cup, coming live from Copacabana Beach. No shiny studios for us. It's going to be, sun and fun, celebrating fan culture at the World Cup. And then Line 9, which is our action sports channel. Both can be found on YouTube and coming to a whole heap of other platforms very soon.
Superb. Tom, brilliant. Thanks for coming down and talking to us.
My pleasure.
Good luck with the panel later on.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Ben.
Okay, then, everybody, we've got plenty more coming from the show today, so make sure you stay tuned, and stay tuned to Twitter at Broadcast Show with the hashtag even BVE14, BVE14. I'm off for a cup of coffee. I'll see you later.